So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to use AI columns, and I'm going to use it to address a deficiency that you often see when people are bringing in blobs such as images, JPEGs, things that may be mislabeled. So in this case, you'll notice I have a bunch of images. They actually come from Ignite. We're going to minimize that over there. And what we're going to try to do initially is come up with a file name that's going to be a little bit better than 00034 JPEG. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to insert an AI columns. And what we're going to ask it to do for us is generate a title and description based off of the image URL. And I want to give it a little bit of direction. So I'm going to add to the output schema here a title. And specifically, I want the title to be short, concise, and capture the essence. And I may have misspelled that, but the LLM doesn't care. And I'm also going to do a description. And for this description, longer form description about what's happening, include people, materials, and place. Now, I don't really know how this is going to perform, but what we can do here is we can now move this over to the side and just run this against a single row. And so as it's considering what that single row should look like, we're going to reopen our preview here. And now we have HVAC and ceiling installation, which seems pretty accurate. And it shows the installation of that. And actually, I love it. Like, I think it's pretty accurate, but you got to try with more than one. And we're going to see where we get to with the second one. And the second one is more straightforward: construction worker on site, yellow safety helmet, etc., etc. And that's pretty good. So I'm going to let it run across everything that's loaded. But actually, I got an idea from this. It isolated that there's a worker here wearing a yellow safety helmet. So now I'm wondering, actually, for all the workers on site, are they wearing the proper PPE? So let's get out of that. And we're going to let that chew through the files. But what we're going to do now is insert another AI column. And this one is going to be specifically tailored to detect PPE. So just detect PPE from image. And this is just going to be a list of PPE. And similar to before, we're going to try that out on just a single row. We're going to open up our preview, none. And yeah, that's pretty accurate because it is just that HVAC example. So we're going to now try this out on the second row over here and see what we get to. Helmet. All right, that's fair. Let's keep going. So here we have the high vis vest, we got the helmet, and all of that is called out. But actually, what I'm not looking for is that list of PPE. What I'm really trying to establish is the site safe? So let's just change this up here from detect PPE to is the site safe? Based off of this image. And instead of list of PPE, we're going to do safe. And specifically, I want to know true or false. So now that we have this new criteria in place, we can go back to what we worked on previously, and we can run that again. And now instead of a detection of the PPE that's used on site, we get an answer true. And the answer true is likely based on the helmet, but we want a little more confidence here. So what we're going to do is add in an explanation, explain. Explain why the site is safe or not. And run that again and see what we come up with. And now what's kind of interesting here is a few things. Is one, we have a really good iterative workflow to work with the LLM at getting the output that we want. The other element is that these outputs are now stable. So you'll notice that we always have safe, we always have explain, and this is going to be consistent and predictable throughout this whole data set now. And more specifically, we can even add in additional detail and further elements of our SOPs while keeping that same output that is now consistent, but considering the extra input to our SOP. So for example, I want the LM to specifically look at specifically consider helmets, footwear. I wanted to consider harnesses if necessary. And I wanted to consider high-vis equipment. So we're going to keep the output the same, but we're giving it a lot more context around the expectations that we have. So now when we run this again, we're going to get something that's going to be more consistent with our expectations. And now we have kind of the confidence that we're looking for, that the LM is following the standard operating procedure in use at our facility. And so now that I'm happy with it, I'm going to do the same type of thing where I can run it here, or even more straightforward, I can just save this. And by saving this, all of these images are going to be reprocessed, and actually any additional data that comes in is going to have this same logic applied to it. So that's it. This is how you effectively wrangle AI to work across all of your data as needed. Have fun.